So why do I need another amp? Once you get the gas, it's like, what can you do about it? You have to give in, eventually. So, look, I've given in. We'll plug it in and see if I've made a terrible mistake. All EQs on noon still. I'm gonna roll the guitar off. No, I'm not playing a Strat. Come on. That sounds great. Let's try some P90s. Hello, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Guitaristas. So, I've been gassing for a new amp for months now. I don't know why. I've got loads of amps. I've got loads of amps that I never get a chance to look at, let alone plug in and play through. Because, as you know, well, if you watch the channel, you'll know, I use the same amp week in, week out. The Fender Princeton 65, the tweed one, this one, that's a picture. The 12-inch speaker. The limited edition one, I use that every week because, well, it gives each guitar a fair crack of the whip, doesn't it? It's an even playing field. Different guitars, same amp. So if there are any differences in what the guitars sound like, hopefully you can hear that, because the amp's always set the same, which is kind of like, well, I suppose I call it the sound in my head. It's, I suppose, the closest I can get to the sound in my head through a Fender Princeton, on the edge of breakup, cranked through an attenuator. It can be a bit brittle sometimes. It's very clean, but it also pushes quite nicely. It can sound glorious. Sometimes it can sound a bit spiky. I don't know if that's the amp or the guitars, to be honest with you, but it's a Princeton. It's going to sound good, isn't it? So why do I need another amp? Well, it didn't stop you thinking, well, maybe it could sound a bit better. Yeah, it didn't stop you thinking that, does it? So for a while now, I've been thinking, well, maybe I should get the 10-inch speaker version, the Silverface one, because that's not too expensive. It's about $1,000 still, isn't it? Or more than that even. But I'm thinking, well, maybe the Silverface. In fact, if you saw the Romford Guitar Safari, that's really when I went up to PMT there, because they had a 68 Silverface Princeton in stock. So I tried it. It was way too loud straight away, and I ended up buying the Les Paul Custom anyway. So I moved on, but it didn't go away, that niggle. It doesn't, does it? Once you get the gas, it's like, what can you do about it? You have to give in eventually. So look, I've given in. It's not that amp though, it's something else. It's something that I think might be better. It was a little bit cheaper, and it might be more usable here in the studio. So I thought, you know what, I saw a deal on this. This has come from Gear for Music, and it's a pre-loved one or a used one. And so it was a little bit cheaper. And that was enough. I've been looking at these on and off as well as the Princeton Silverface for a while. And then, you know, you see a little deal and you think, oh, that's it, I'm having it. I'm giving in. And here it is. So, yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to open it now. And I'll show you what it is. And then we'll do a little bit of a review, shall we? We'll plug it in and see if I've made a terrible mistake and wasted a lot of money. Being used, I figured if I don't like it, I can probably flip it without losing too much. Again, justification. All right, so the so-called butter knife of joy is at the ready. It's a bit blunt. I'm not sure how well it'll tackle this brown packing tape. It's going to be fine. So what we'll do is we'll shut up, we'll open it, we'll speed it all up, we'll get this out, and then we'll, I think we're going to go downstairs today and plug it in and muck around down there. So let's get on with it. Yeah, it's a Fender, obviously. God, the butter knife is making easy work of that. So yeah, it's used. They say it's got the original packaging, but they said mint, so we'll see. Oh, it's light. That's the cover. Let's put that aside for now. I don't know if I've ever used a cover. Right, can you see what it is? It's a bit dusty. Vibro Champ Reverb. It's the 5-watt version. 5-watt one. 5-watt one. So, some people say they're really good. Looks all right. Yeah, it's immaculate. Oh, it's been pat tested. Yeah, oh no, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to photograph that now. Label inside says 6th of September 2021. So I suppose, I wonder if it's just an ex-demo. Looks neat. There's no dings or anything on it. I reckon a shop demo or something. So I paid 689 English pounds for this. Full retail, they're more like 913, I think it was 939 pounds. But of course, they don't sell for full retail. Well, sometimes these stuff do, because they're very popular and sought after, and they're rarely in stock, these things, in actual physical shops anyway, which is the problem. I would have liked to have probably gone up to Romford and tried it out. I say Romford because that's my nearest kind of Fender dealer these days. Anyway, they didn't have one of these, so I've never played one. I might have made a terrible mistake. Anyway, 689, but you can get deals on these in the UK at the moment, as cheap as 749. I've seen them. So, yeah, anyway. Let's see if this one works. If it doesn't work, I think I might send it back and just get a new one. I'm sure it'll work. Of course it will. Specs, it's 5 watts, and it's 2 times 12 AX7 preamp tubes and 1 6V6. Where's my notes? Yeah, and 1 6V6 power tube somewhere in there. It's oh yeah, it's a birch ply 5/8 of an inch birch ply cabinet. It's not too heavy. It weighs 20 pounds, but it's not too, well, you can see what I'm doing that. I'm not that strong. So, right, let's plug it in, see what it sounds like. I think we're going to go downstairs. Yeah, let's go and do that. Plug it in. See you in a minute. Okay, we're all set, I think. I'm a little bit nervous. I'll tell you why, because I bought a little while ago, not very long ago actually, I bought a Cornell Romany, little, I think it was a 10-watt one, but it's a little amp like that. And I thought, oh, this is going to be great. And I plugged it in, and it was all right. It sounded all boxy and all raspy, and that was all it did. And I hated it. So I literally took it straight back to the shop, and it just wasn't for me. It does a thing. Some people love them, but it's not my sound. So I'm kind of fingers crossed this isn't the same. There's a danger that it will be, because it's a little 10-inch speaker. So, should we find out? Right, here we go. I'm going to start it off on 5. Let's put all EQs at noon. Let's put the Verb on 3, and we'll have the tremolo or vibrato, whatever they call it, off to start with. It's not something I would generally use, but here we go. And look, I've got a dB meter today as well. I've got a dB meter, so you can see how loud I'm talking. 70 dB before you start. Okay, and I've got an earplug in as well, just in case, because I don't want to deafen myself. So here we go. We're starting on 5. Hi. On the telly to start with, obviously. Fully cranked. It's not boxy, is it? Let's turn it up. 7. Great, isn't it? Nice, real nice sparkle. Let's crank it. I've got an earplug. Come on. That sounds great. You need an earplug though, because that's deafening. Look at that. Well, fully cranked, 105, 106 dB. Ain't that bad, but makes a big difference. I know that because I was mucking around with it yesterday and I went home with a terrible ringing in my ears yesterday. Right, well that's obviously Telecaster, single coils. Let's try something else. Let's see what that sounds like. What should we try? We'll do humbuckers because that's the most common pickup after single coils. I don't know which is the most common pickup. Single coils, as in Strat. I'm not playing a Strat. Strat or Telecaster style single coils, or humbuckers. That's a good question, isn't it? What's the most common? Evens, humbucker. What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments. Right, this is the Eastman. I've got a floor tuner. I've got a ball tuner today. Here's a funny thing. Last time I was down here, in the fallout shelter here, I played this and I had a clip-on tuner on because I didn't have this ball down here, and I thought nothing of it. And somebody in the comments, can you believe this? Somebody in the comments accused me of being embarrassed that I was playing an Eastman and trying to cover the logo up. I can see why you might have thought that, but you're obviously not familiar with this channel. So, you're a bit of a twat, really. Oh, I don't mean it, I'm only joking. A lot of people would be embarrassed. Oh, I haven't got a Gibson. Well, I had. I haven't now because I've sold it. I sold it a couple of weeks ago, the Les Paul. Oh, I have got a Gibson Les Paul. Sorry, I forgot. I've got a Les Paul Custom. But I'm certainly not embarrassed about Eastman. Because if I can, why do you think I'm playing this? I'm rabbiting today, aren't I? We'll roll off the amp again to start. Roll that back to about 7. All EQs on noon still. And we'll roll the guitar off. See what we've got. Putting out quite a lot more output than the telly. So that's on 7 with the guitar's now fully cranked, and that's 105 dB. Let's go to 10. So, it's warm. It's really warm, isn't it? So there you go, we used a little bit of drive as well. Takes it really well, doesn't it? That was the Nobels ODR1, as you can see, I hope. Let's try some P90s. Ooh, I like this guitar. I haven't played it for a while. Now what's going on? Does it stop working? Still on 7. Can you hear, it's not my imagination, is it? But the reverb is all of a sudden really noticeable. Back to 7. Oh, hello. We've developed a fault. That's the problem. If you don't use them, you lose them. Yeah. Still on 7, that. Let's do that. I like that. that's P90s. There you go. Wow. What a great amp. What a great amp. I'm going to carry on playing now because I'm enjoying myself. So thanks for joining us. I hope all this comes out. I'll see you next week, I hope. All right? I look forward to it. Cheers for now. Ta-da.